Bonjour à tous.
Welcome to Business Africa. I'm Ruth Lago.
Africa avec moi, Ruth Lago.
How do we strengthen the China-Africa partnership at a time when the continent is going through a financial crisis and the impact of COVID-19? What can the cannabis industry bring to the South African economy? According to experts, the potential of this sector is estimated at $1.7 billion. Burundi aims to strengthen its economic status by 2040. The southern African country aims to transform its agricultural sector and better its infrastructure. China-Africa relation has made strong progress, with the trade value between the two sides amounting to $192 billion in 2019, compared to $185 billion in 2018. China invested $2.59 billion in the first months of the current year, 2021, an increase of 9.9%. Is this partnership beneficial? Let's find out.
Trade between China and Africa increased by 38.2% to $185 billion in the first 9 months of 2021, according to Beijing's Ministry of Commerce. Both parties will be looking to the upcoming FOCAC meeting in Dakar to trade even more. Since 2009, China has overtaken the United States as Africa's largest trading partner. China maintains a massive trade surplus over the continent. African imports from Beijing include machinery, transport equipment, electronics, textiles and footwear. FOCAC has been the primary mechanism of Chinese engagement with Africa. African countries have been running to Beijing to secure cheap financing to build roads, ports and internet infrastructure. Africa is also a key component of China's Belt and Road Initiative, which seeks to expand global trade. At the last summit in Beijing in 2018, China promised $60 billion in financial assistance. The Dakar meeting is happening amid the turbulence caused by COVID-19, which has hit African economies especially hard. It remains to be seen if Beijing will continue to underwrite the continent's infrastructure ambitions under the current conditions. The forum is expected to produce cooperation agreements on tackling climate change and the pandemic.
And to talk about this new era of Sino-African cooperation in the wake of the Dakar Forum, I present to you Hannah Ryder, Managing Director of Development Reimagined. This forum on China-Africa cooperation comes at a time when African countries are doing everything to recover from the COVID pandemic. China is one of the donors. How will Africa cope with this crisis?
There's no doubt that that vaccines will continue to flow from China to African countries over the next year. As you mentioned, China has been one of the key suppliers of vaccines to African countries, with a number of countries, including, for example, Egypt, who have also begun local manufacturing with Chinese vaccines. So that is likely to continue. The question will be what predictability of supply there will be and how to make sure that even more African countries are able to get the vaccine supplies. Right now, as we go into FOCAC, just under 6% of the African population are fully vaccinated. So really, from anywhere, all directions, the supplies need to increase. And also need to go into a number of countries which are behind others, especially across the central part of Africa.
Will Beijing continue to finance infrastructural projects in Africa? Critics have said this is an opaque investment. What is your opinion of this?
Well, bankrolling is one way of putting it. I would say what has happened so far is that China has been open to where African countries have required and needed infrastructure. However, there's no development partner that has really supported Africa to the scale that is really required, especially going forwards. And even coming out of COVID-19, African countries need more finance, not less, in order to in order to recover from COVID-19 and to also shape, for example, a digital future. So there's a lot that hangs in the balance, whether there are a number of, there are some concerns. Some analysts say that China is reducing its overseas spending. Some other analysts say that African projects and infrastructure projects are too risky. I'm not one of those analysts. I believe that there's a great deal of growth and opportunity through investing in African countries, including through concessional loans. And my hope certainly is that China will also be of the same view and to continue to be open to lending to African governments that require it, but especially at low interest rates and for really good projects, especially regional projects, which would deliver big economic returns, especially with the African continental free trade area that we have.
What are the key areas that you believe will determine the future Sino-African cooperation?
It's difficult to say. Certainly digital cooperation is a new area. The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has been going on for about just over this is its 21st year. This is the 8th meeting in the series. And over those 20 years, the number of areas of cooperation have increased rapidly. Now there's over 40 areas of cooperation. My firm just did a report that shows this. So all of those, many of those are likely to continue. Those areas vary from agriculture to health, to trade, to investment. But certainly we're expecting a much bigger emphasis on the private sector and, as I mentioned, digital cooperation. And those two areas, very, very important, especially for COVID-19 recovery.
That was Hannah Ryder, the Managing Director of Development Reimagined. In Sandton, South Africa, at least 100 companies operating in the cannabis industry have pointed out the underutilized potential of the product for the South African economy. The entrepreneurs indicated that the sector alone can employ between 10,000 and 25,000 people, and that South Africa could become a hub for the global cannabis business with billions of dollars to be earned.
South Africa's Constitutional Court decriminalized recreational consumption of marijuana in private space in 2018. The ruling still has to be turned into a law, but local entrepreneurs gathered at Johannesburg Cannabis Expo. This will translate into massive business opportunity in the year to come.
In 2018, we launched the first Cannabis Expo just after it had become legal for people to consume cannabis at home in private in South Africa. And we've seen from there the government has been moving slowly, but moving in the right direction towards opening up the cannabis industry more so that it can benefit all South Africans.
South Africa has the potential to supply the world with quality cannabis and cannabis products at competitive prices, but more funding is still needed, especially among local stakeholders.
In terms of small businesses, it is difficult because to get access to funding that is at a reasonable interest rates, etc., I think the government could do more around that. However, we are still miles ahead of most of the world.
The South African government has been urged to get involved in order for the local cannabis industry to reach its full potential.
The emergence of Burundi can be achieved through the diversification of its economy. This country wants to focus on the transformation of agriculture and the development of its infrastructure, a message reiterated by economists at the First National Forum on Development in Bujumbura.
In Burundi, several sectors can constitute the levers of its development. This was the outcome of the maiden edition of the National Forum on Development held between November 18 and 19. The forum was on the theme Making Burundi an Emerging Country by 2040.
La majorité des Burundais, c'est une population de moins de 25 ans, donc c'est une population jeune qui est prête à travailler. Nous sommes au milieu de l'Afrique centrale, au milieu de l'Afrique de l'Est et avec un accès au lac Tanganyika. Le Burundi peut être une plaque tournante, un cercle où les exportations agricoles, où le savoir-faire est justement exporté non seulement dans l'Afrique francophone centrale, mais également Afrique de l'Est
Agriculture is the main lever of growth, with more than 90% of the population surviving on the sector. With this, Burundi's former Minister of Communal Development, Pierre Nahimana, believes the sector can become a commercial crossroad. Business opportunities are not lacking in Burundi, especially in strategic sectors such as industrial mining, infrastructure, agribusiness, ecotourism, vocational education, social housing, logistics, healthcare, energy and ICT.
La logistique, les soins de santé, l'énergie et les TIC.
According to the IMF, with an estimated population of 12 million, Burundi ranks last in terms of GDP at $265.18 per capita per year.
Thank you for being with us on Business Africa. See you soon.
À très bientôt.